Hello, hello. Happy Sunday and welcome back to the UpSet podcast. Like we say, if it's Sunday, it's UpSet Sunday. And so we're happy to be here today. And when I say we, you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the UpSet crew. What's up,
Hi,
everybody?
guys.
Hey.
Oh, happy Sunday.
I think I should be saying soon Merry Christmas, right? Happy
I know,
holidays.
right? Happy
whatever,
holidays.
Whatever your greeting you like.
I'm in brag mode right now. Wagwan.
Yes, welcome back, Pat. Pat was
What
on.
go on? Is that what that was?
Yeah, don't worry about
Go on.
Marlene, you should know this by now. Your church is what, like 99.9.99
And
Jamaican.
And trust me, when they're talking to me, I'm rewinding slowly. What the devil did they just say? What was that?
But how was it, Pat? How was Jamaica?
Awesome. It was a wedding out there, but it was just, I took some time to kick back, watch the show. Awesome show that y'all did without me. But but it
We
was.
missed you, Pat.
was
We
good.
found a
Good
replacement, so it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, wasn't he bald too? Yeah, this was perfect.
a little funny. Yeah, a little funny.
Yeah.
Actually, funnier. Yeah. We found the one.
That is terrible.
All right, GP, I'm not coming to your homecoming. I'm sorry.
No, welcome back. Welcome back.
Yep, glad to be back.
So I mean, so much comes to my mind, even asking this question. What has been inundating your timelines and news platforms this week?
I'm gonna say Twitch to start off with. A tremendous loss. Conspiracy theories going around too, but that's what happens when we try to find the reason. We're trying to find something around.
Make sense of it all.
Yeah, that was very sad about Twitch.
It was 40 years old.
40 years old. And people always say, particularly with celebrities, what you see is not always the reality. It may seem like they have it all, but to me, he was a little different in that it really came off as genuine. Like, I was first introduced to him on So You Think You Can Dance. And when he came out there, you felt his energy, you felt the vibe. It didn't come off as a pretense. He wasn't even famous at that point. And, just seeing him go on to Ellen DeGeneres show and like blossom, it's almost like you're invested in these people. And then you're like, oh no, what happened? And I saw so many of his friends and colleagues saying, we're sorry if we didn't hear you. You know what I mean? Like if you were trying to tell us, but we were just so used to you being the upbeat, fun person in the room that we didn't even recognize that you were hurting. And I mean, it's, after having that show last week and then, hearing about this loss, it just shows you it's a real thing. Depression. And
I think that's the facade with a lot of people in entertainment. I mean, I used to be a big fan of Robin Williams.
Right.
Yeah.
And the guy's so funny and so brilliant and just all over the place.
Yeah.
And I mean, not only an actor, but a comedian. And I was devastated to hear.
Me too.
Me too.
How he was such a funny guy, and yet you really don't know what's going on behind that glitz, and that that famous. I understand he had Twitch had children. Did he?
Yeah, 3 children, his wife, and I mean the fact that he was like they were doing a TikTok video together just that Monday, and then the next day,
and then he went to a hotel, to get away from the family, I guess, to do it. And
it's just
so he planned it out. But I was reading an article of another guy was saying when his show got canceled, he was very down too, and he thought that maybe Twitch was going, through the loss of having the show and not having to get a new job since Ellen's show was had ended. And we do know that finances have a lot to do with increasing our stresses. So it was just super sad.
Yeah. Very definitely.
My other issue too is, I'm sorry, go ahead, Pat.
No, I just want to say to everybody, check on each other.
Yeah. And even your happy friends, they say, even the life of the party.
Strong friends.
Check depression.
And sometimes they can be hard to reach, because some people are so private and they carry the facade that everything is okay. Sure. Or if you see them bleeding, they don't want to do what it takes to stop the bleeding, That's what I've noticed, especially with like family members, it can be hard.
Right.
But the other point I wanted to bring out was about BG Griner, Brittany Griner, and that, they're giving some people giving the president a hard time about the deal, and that he shouldn't have swapped. I was like, what? He's supposed to leave her there, because
he's been all right with it. Some people, yeah.
Absolutely. And I says, because that's the black female, they couldn't get the white male. So, she was the only option, either her or no one. So you just leave her there. And I'm hearing this on, I was like, how cold-hearted we have become. What if it was your family member, over there? So,
hey, Marlene, look how things have changed in the past. It is always the United States who would say it has been in our history that we do not
leave Americans behind. That one?
No. We it's historic for us that we don't swap. We don't deal.
Yes.
We don't do that. What we do, we just drop a bomb on them or something of that nature, or threaten them to. That's another story altogether. But it's out of precedence for us to even make a swap publicly. I'm going to say that, okay? Check, you heard me. Right. Publicly, we don't really do that. But there's a lot of implications dealing with this situation. But if it were my child,
more than we know.
More than we know. A lot that's going on more than we know. But you're right. There's if it were my child, we going in. We gonna bring her home. I don't care what anybody says.
Absolutely.
Every soul matters.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to bring up, if everyone hasn't seen it in the news, that Harvard University has named the new president. And I mean the president of the entire university.
Right.
Claudine Gay is her name, and she will assume the presidency very soon. From what I've read about her, she is brilliant, caring, just a lot of positive stuff about her. And that's exciting. And I understand that she's Haitian.
Haitian American. That's right.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And she's,
so,
young. I mean,
so that's great news,
It is, and it's great to see that women are finally starting to be valued for, what they bring to the table, like their gifts. People are starting to recognize the skill sets and the talents that women bring forth, and not filling a quota, but actually putting someone who's qualified, who happens to be a female, in the role. I mean, I love when I see it, and a black female. I mean, that
it's especially of Harvard,
Harvard, a place where we barely got in, and I'm hoping that this will encourage more of us to attempt to go to Harvard. I mean, when I say attempt, I mean, some of us could do it if we just believed we could. Maybe this face now as the president will encourage more of
and borrow about $900,000
to get scholarship.
Harvard? You know Harvard used to be free?
Wow.
I believe it.
Many years ago. And then when they started charging tuition, it was something ridiculous, like $200. They do the history on Harvard. It's very interesting.
It's 400 years, guys. They've been in existence. Just think about that.
And I understand that Harvard does not need tuition to operate.
Nope.
They have
so much. I did read that one.
No.
It's
the tuitions are gravy. That's like the summer house.
Wow. That's a lot of gravy.
Right. Thanks, Marlena.
So speaking of colleges and universities, last episode I was talking about Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State University and importance of Black folks supporting Black institutions and HBCUs. Well, Charles Barkley announced that he will give $1 million to Jackson State University and also $1 million to Bethune-Cookman College in Florida.
Well, go ahead, Barkley. All right.
Listen, even Kevin Durant is giving back to Bowie State University in Maryland.
That's right.
And so
it's about time.
If you don't have millions yourself, you can still give $1 every month to a HBCU you love. And so it's going to take all of us. Don't just rely on celebrities. That's right. I love what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, that's great.
That's
yes,
great,
HBCUs. Yes, loving it. All right, guys. Well, it's the end of the year. This is that time of year where most of us are winding down, and
I feel like she's about to break out into some song or something.
Winding down.
Most wonderful time.
But no, I do love Christmas music, but we're going to talk about that. Actually, this whole show is just the crew reminiscing on Christmases of the past, of long ago, how we celebrated Christmas as young people, as kids, and then kind of progressing to when we became parents, if that was a shift for us. And then we want to also look at, as we're getting older, how it's changing in our minds, and just kind of reviewing some of the traditions that we have held on to and some of the ones that we've let go of or adopted, new ones we've adopted. So we're not live, but we want you to engage with some of these questions as we're asking each other and talking about it. Put yours in the chat. We like to go back and read them and see how Christmas was for you. I think we all are from different places. Where'd you grow up? Where'd you grow up, Marlena? Did you grow up in Virginia too?
In Virginia, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So we both grew up in Virginia. GP, you grew up in Florida?
Florida.
All right. Pat, New York, right?
Not talking to y'all Virginia people. Brooklyn, New York. Grew up in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah. And Charles?
North Philadelphia.
Yeah.
All right.
Born and raised.
Born and raised. Go ahead, y'all. Go ahead.
You never left.
Born and raised in Philly. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're all on.
I wouldn't have left either if I wasn't a pastor.
Somebody speak to Tally, because we know Tally is at the funeral, right?
Right.
He's North Philadelphia too.
Philadelphia.
East Philadelphia. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's just start off with Christmas as a kid. I mean, what's the first thing, when I said that just now, Christmas as a kid, what's the first thing that jumped in you all's minds when you pictured Christmas for you as a kid, as a child?
I remember around September and October, my mom and dad would take us to this big children's toy store. Sorry. And we would pick out what we wanted for Christmas. So, of course, we knew early there was no Santa Claus, right? We knew that early. That was not any little false tradition in our home. And you had the opportunity to pick out like 3 of your favorite toys. Now, trust me, in the 70s, it was not $300-$400 toys, but you just picked out your best 3 and they put it on layaway. And you couldn't wait for Christmas to come,
Layaway.
Layaway.
I was going to say the important part of that statement was layaway. Layaway was a big deal back in those days. It's coming back,
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. At least they planned ahead. I mean, you said this happened in September, October. Give them time to...
Because my dad, he was the only one working, so he had to lay it away, right? And we would be excited to pick it up, but it would still be wrapped, and we did have Christmas trees, when we were younger, and we still do now anyway. But it was so exciting, like we never saw it before, when we would get up Christmas morning. I remember being little, and one time Christmas was on the Sabbath as a kid. I was like, oh man, right? Not knowing the importance of church, right?
Right.
Evanistic I was, but Mom said, no, we got to go to church, and so we, you learn as you get older what's important. Absolutely. But that's what came to my mind.
I remember when I first learned that Santa Claus was a fake. Yeah, I mean, my mother took
another euphemism you could use.
Yeah, another
fake.
Down in Philadelphia, there was a John Wanamaker's, one of the big, department stores, and they always had Christmas. Christmas at John Wanamaker's was a major production, and people would go down and just see the Christmas lights in the court, and all that. And so, Mom took us down. My father was a Grinch, so he wasn't taking us anywhere. In fact, he saw us as bills. But we went downtown, and of course, Mom took me to see Santa Claus, and I was really into it. And then when we left the store, I saw 4 other Santa Claus. And I said, Mom, I said, why are there more Santa Clauses? I thought there was only one. And then, of course, she came up with the story. Oh, well, they're his helpers. You know, don't worry. So I said, yeah, okay, I got it. Mm-hmm.
How old were you?
Oh, gosh. I don't even remember. My brains were mush back then.
And his hair at that time wasn't Santa white.
I think that the most memorable Christmas I had was when I found out that Santa was a fake.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all. But you know, it didn't ruin it for me. Right. I mean, it's not like I stood in front of my mother and said, "Oh, all these years you led me to it." No, it wasn't that. It was like, "Oh, okay." You know how kids are. You know, they're like, "Oh, all right, okay, whatever you say." You know,
resilient.
You look forward to the tree.
Kids are resilient. Just keep the gifts coming. We don't care about Santa.
I felt silly. You know, as I got older, I said, I used to believe that he'd come down the chimney, and when we were little, we didn't have a chimney.
Right.
We had an apartment. We said,
came down the radiator.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Hey, look at GP. What's a radiator?
What's a radiator?
Is that like a vent system? What is that?
It's heat. It's the only heat you had back in those days. But yeah, I think one of the things is just coming of age and realizing what Christmas really is all about as you get older. Yeah. So you shift from, okay, the fantasy thing and the fake Santa to it really is a joyous time of the year. And then your priorities change, you know, and you refocus.
Yeah. What about you, GP?
Well, for me, being in Florida, it was still warm. It never got cold, but I really appreciated the season because, you know I'd always get gifts and, you know, we'd have time together as a family. So it was always a memorable time for us. We always enjoyed singing. When I was a kid, I remember always singing in nursing homes or hospitals. And so outreach was big. It was a big part of our family. And so during the holiday seasons, we would go out and sing and
caroling,
minister to other people. So it wasn't just about what's in it for us, but we would also give to others, and we would get gifts as well. So it was always a wonderful time. And I'm the kind of guy who loves Christmas music year round.
Me too. Me too.
It can be July. I will pull out my Christmas music and just jam out because Christmas music is the greatest music in the world, period.
Well, you know, the only time I heard Christmas music in the summer or before Christmas was, you know, Staples ran some ads, and they had the parent in the Staples shopping for school supplies singing, "This is the most wonderful time of the year." It's like my kids get to leave the house and go back to school. You know?
Right.
But no, it's funny you should mention that, because for me, I remember waking up Christmas morning to my dad putting on the Christmas record. I remember we had a Christmas record. He would put it on the record player.
She stole my story.
And the house would just fill up. And, you know, as kids, we would just start blinking like, the music is it's Christmas. Like, you know, that was something that he did every year, is to wake us up in the morning for Christmas. Wow. To just put on that Christmas record. And even now I ask my dad, you still have that record? I mean, I don't think we still have a record player.
What was the song?
I mean, it was just a whole album. So it would just be festive Christmas music. It didn't, you know, and it wasn't like gospel either. It was like, you know, jingle bells and, you know, Santa Claus is coming to town. It was like, even though we didn't believe in Santa Claus, we still liked the songs, you know. And so it was always exciting for us because we, you know, jump out of our beds and run out. Hey, it's Christmas, it's Christmas. I mean, I think that's probably my most memorable time regarding Christmas, just that hearing that music, and just that's the sign. Today's the day, you know.
Well, you know, speaking of music, one of my mother's favorite that she played, and this is, it kind of enchanted the atmosphere when she put on Nat Cole's.
Here we go.
You know, it's just something about his voice and the history of that song. Even if you were a Grinch, you had to soften up when you heard Nat King Cole saying, you know, the Christmas song.
Chestnuts roasting on
Right.
I know, right? All right, Pat. What about you?
You stole it. Honestly, you stole it from me.
Oh, really?
From the time, and it's funny. You remember where you lived during those times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we used to live in an apartment building from birth to 7 years old. My dad used to do the same thing. Have a little record player. We had Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer playing, and and Marlene, the same thing. But and I want those of you who are in the chat right now to there are different toy stores. Of course, we had Toys R Us, which was the biggest chain, but in Brooklyn we had Reds. It was called Reds, or I don't know which one is in Philly though. But you had toy stores, and then we had flyers or magazines. That consumer magazines that you can go through to pick your toys out of and give it to your parents. And the hardest thing of it, no, I wouldn't say the hardest thing. Christmas, my parents always, when we reached about 11, something like that, that's when they told us the true Christmas story, and said, hey, we will not put up trees anymore. Once we were able to understand, I don't think it was traumatic for us, but it was Christmas time was a big deal. That's the time when you can get the cake with the rum in it.
Really?
No trees, but we'll have rum.
Okay. Right. No trees, we got rum. And then true. Right. Oh no, we cooked it before. Okay. So. The other one is that every Christmas morning, though, we were at my uncle's house for breakfast. So we all would meet for breakfast, and then we'll go to my mother's side. My father's side is the Adventist side. Then we go to my mother's side for the party side. Christmas was always huge to me. It just awesome.
Yeah.
Well, as I got older, and of course, then my own family came along. One of the things I dreaded was you remember the story Toys R Us?
Oh, yeah.
It was like the Home Depot for toys.
Yeah.
I would walk in that store and just be overwhelmed. I'm going to get a gift for my child. You walk in the door, and there are 97 aisles. They're all high. And you're like, you got to know what you want before you go. Yeah. Because if you go aisle by aisle, I mean, you'll get a headache. I didn't realize then that there were so many toys.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's a good transition, Charles, because we would kind of wanted to talk about, we remember when we were the recipients of all these gifts as kids, and now we're the people responsible for making Christmas special for our old kids. What was that like? Maybe your first Christmas, or like when they were young and really knew what they were getting. GP, you're fortunately still at that stage where Libby knows
no stress,
time, but
no stress.
That whole
she doesn't know anything.
Listen, I bought her something.
There is no Christmas.
We got her a gift, and we actually didn't wrap it up. We hid it somewhere. She ended up finding it and pulled it out, brought it to me, and said, "Open it." She didn't say it. Like, let's go.
Let me check this out.
So she's been playing with her gift and enjoying it.
And then they're going to enjoy the box.
Of course.
All right, just the box.
Right.
But remember when we were kids, cartoons, in between the cartoons, and I think they still do it. I don't watch cartoons anymore. There would be a lot of commercials about the coolest toys. And so that's how we would develop our Christmas list. I like that. And, Mom, come look at, I want that.
Advertise during those. Yeah.
And now there's even more advertising for kids, like, because it's not just TV, it's now on social media, it's TikTok, it's like, so they have all these things that they're interested in getting. But
Thomas, you don't watch the Christmas cartoons anymore? Are you crazy?
Or at least have it playing. At least have it playing in the background, especially Peanuts. You gotta have.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Charlie Brown Christmas.
That's
a classic.
Yeah.
It's true.
I still watch my cartoons, man.
I remember one Christmas. I gotta tell y'all this. I remember one
I'm
Christmas.
in my 50s, Chuck. I watch my Christmas cartoons.
That's all right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. With Charlie Brown moving the football.
Oh yeah.
I remember we took out our Christmas gifts early, not at Christmas time.
Okay.
And we used to Thunder Shift 500. You used to have to put the tracks together, the car tracks together. You had a little gun in your hand, you know, the controller in your hand.
Yeah.
Man, we broke the toys before Christmas.
Oh my
God. Wow. Yep.
You know what?
Yeah, I've got those
Hess trucks. Those Hess trucks used to be real popular.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Collector's items. Yeah. Even today.
Still collector's items.
Yeah. Yeah. Those
you know who collects them? Sherwin Claremont.
Oh, okay.
Has
really
trucks. Because in St. Croix they used to have the plant there. The Hess plant there has a whole bunch of trucks that's in there. Yeah. So
I remember the car races, the car racing.
Yes.
Yeah. Like about a week later, they were like obliterated.
Yeah. Tyco.
Cars stopped.
Tyco.
Yeah. Cars stopped working.
Yeah.
You know,
the wheels come off.
Yeah.
Well,
wait a minute. Do you remember you could press the button and it'll reverse?
Right.
Sometimes I ended up having more fun than my kids.
Yeah.
Well,
I said, where you going? Where you going? Come back. Pick a car. Let's go.
I want to say when Tosh was I've never had children, so we adopted children. When we got them, they were 9 and 10. So, but it was the curse of technology that destroyed Christmas.
Yeah,
because I'm gonna say destroyed Christmas because everything is so expensive. One gift was $300-400, and all the kids wanted PlayStations, Xboxes. You know, you're like. I was like, my 3 gifts cost maybe $100 or less. You're talking about one gift.
Yeah.
So that was like the destructive thing because that was what all the kids were doing, and the children wanted what everybody else had. You know?
Yeah.
But
speaking of gifts, what was your favorite gift? If you can remember a favorite gift at
That's easy for me. A remote control car.
Oh,
really had a blast.
I still give those out today. Yeah.
I feel like those never get old. I mean, that's always something exhilarating about controlling this car.
Yeah, now you got drones.
Easy to buy boys. Oh, good gracious.
When we were growing up, my parents bought us walkie-talkies, and it was 3 of us.
We had to share.
My turn.
I think back on this robot I wanted, and now I think to myself, I said, what was that? Well, I was a kid and I was indoctrinated about war and everything. You know, you get the little army men.
Oh, yeah.
You put them on and they're fighting each other.
Yeah.
And we're just so indoctrinated with war. There was this robot that was advertised. It was called Commander Robot.
Oh, yes.
And this thing, the head would open and shoot missiles. And it would shoot torpedoes and up.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there as a kid. I'm enjoying this, but I look back and go, oh my gosh, how was
I violent, right? Oh my goodness. That's why we're so violent. We learn violence as kids.
Every our toys. Yeah, mine was Cabbage Patch. I mean, Cabbage Patch.
Oh yeah,
they were so hard to come by.
Folk went crazy with those.
Especially finding the black ones. I remember my mom and my aunt like just going out on these shopping expeditions, and they really were expeditions because they didn't know if they were going to be able to come back with one or not. And just when I opened her name is Isabel. I'll never forget Isabel. That day I was so happy because I knew how much.
Look at her face, y'all. On Isabel.
I wanted one, but I knew how much it took for my mom to find it for me. So I really
they were expensive.
Yeah,
and collector's items hard to find.
Yeah. So
Isabel. And I'd be teasing somebody.
I begin to hate the 2 words Power
Ranger.
You know, I just said, I said to my wife, I said, look, can we just get them 1 Power Ranger apiece? And oh no, you know how many Power Rangers there were? There was the red one, the white one, the yellow one, the blue one.
Yeah.
Go Power Rangers.
Yeah.
So parents are calling each other saying, hey, I know the Red Ranger at so-and-so store. Really? Okay, pick me up one when you go there. When you sit back and you look at that and you go, what were we thinking?
Yeah. But
why couldn't we tell our kids?
Exhilarating though for us. It's like the thrill of the chase.
Why couldn't we just tell our kids, look, you go get the Black Ranger and that's it. All right. And you can go out and get the other ones, but here's the Black.
You know, I could tell you, my brother's godfather bought me a calculator for Christmas one day. And that was impactful that I consider myself my high school teacher said you should have been an accountant. You should be in accounting. And just to think that somebody would give you not a toy, but a calculator, and the one that had the ribbon on it.
Oh,
it gave me a calculator. So I think that was
like
memorable.
The adding machine, like with the print,
it was like it wasn't the one that you add like that, but it had
you hear it like as you're typing and then
you heard it. Okay.
Like the Casio. That's the old one like that. I mean, it was old now, but that was one that I could remember. And Steve Austin, the astronaut, the $6 million man, he had in the back of his head a little glass. And you could look through it because remember he had a
bionic eye.
He had a bionic eye, so you could look through the back of it and see far down. Steve Austin, the astronaut, the $6 million man, was one of my favorite toys. And Stretch Armstrong. If you're in the chat right now, you need to write. You need to put in the chat. Your favorite toy, or even toys, because sometimes you get 2 or 3 because you had aunts and uncles that would get.
Because I like the whole Barbie, like getting the Barbie and then getting the Barbie house and the Barbie car. Then you're just building up this one.
What a waste!
But as my kids got older, and you get the
Barbie car,
it was fun.
Or they had us. They had us
husband, the Ken. I mean, come on.
Yeah. That's how you do it. You build it out.
Not a black Barbie.
In the friend,
I've got to tell you guys this, because we were talking about, the unthankfulness and ungratefulness of children. So one of my little family members, I bought them cute little set of like Barbie dolls, and they were so excited for Christmas. They opened up and they said, "What's this?"
Oh no,
Mama Marlena, what's this? Right? It was like we were excited about it. Like, I don't want to doll it, but you're like a little kid. You're like,
you're supposed to like dolls.
Big, Santa, don't you like this?
Speaking of that, have you ever purchased a gift or received a gift that either the person didn't like or want, or you didn't like or want? Do you ever get a gift and you had to kind of put on that game face?
I'm not saying anything because they could be watching our show right now.
Right.
So,
well, all I gotta say is thank God for the gift receipt.
Look, I will say, when people give me things, I never give it away. I keep it. Now, it might keep hanging. No, it keeps hanging in the closet. No, because people say, "Hey, what about that such and such?" Maybe I haven't seen. I said, "Oh, you're going to see it," and I would wear it. I do. I'll wear it so they'll know. It might only be 2 times in my whole life, but I'll wear it. So they're like, "Oh, you wore it." I was like,
Marlene is a good person, man.
I was like, but what do you do, especially as pastors, when people buy you stuff? You gotta,
listen. This member of mine gave me some cologne that had some freaky name on it. I was like,
signifying.
Revelation.
Okay. Sexual revelation.
I was like,
no. Well, I can tell you that I learned through the years, when you learn your relatives and your friends, you know what not to buy.
Right. That's
okay. I learned what not to buy my wife, and that's clothes.
Really?
Yeah, because
her taste.
Well, first of all, she's a connoisseur on stuff. I mean, my wife dresses up to go someplace. I mean, I haven't seen her in the same outfit yet, as long as I've been.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm telling you. She makes clothes. Her mother made clothes.
Wow.
Okay.
So here I go, to TJ Maxx. I saw myself getting a blouse and a sweater, and I'm coming. I mean,
she like my little family member. What's this?
My mother-in-law used to make clothes. She was an outstanding seamstress. She made some high fashion stuff. So that's what my wife was, accustomed to. Here I come. I think I'm doing something right. Oh, I got this sweater on sale. It's like.
I made that last week.
But she's very gracious, very gracious, and like you said, Marlena, he's like, "What's that sweater I got you for Christmas?"
I know. I think it's when your spouse gets something that you don't like or you feel isn't your style. It makes you say, do you pay attention to what I'm wearing? Like, did you think I would look good in it? Do you think I would like this? I think that kind of happens sometimes, but well, I don't do it either.
I want to say, till this day, I bought my brother a nice sweater. It was gray and navy. I just saw the sweater. I thought it was really cute, but it had reindeer on it. Oh. And they joke me out till this day. You can only wear how ugly that sweater was. And they don't trust me to buy them any clothing anymore. From probably 2-3 decades ago. And it wasn't in the ugly sweater contest. I mean, place. It was.
You really thought it was cute.
I thought it was a cute sweater. I thought it was cute.
Yeah. I give my kids money now. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Clothes are tough because you may think something is somebody's style, but it changes. Their style changes. So you think that they're still here, and they're like, actually, yeah. So I don't. With my kids, I don't buy them clothes anymore either because their styles change too much for me, and I just can't.
By the time you box it, it's out of.
You're out of it.
With your kids, Latasha, you can't buy them clothes because yesterday they were one.
Right, they grow and they grow out of them too. That's true.
I saw a picture of them, and they look like models.
Grown women, yeah.
Listen, I saw them at the Christmas party, and I was like, they're taller than me now.
They are
for Christmas. I know this is not the gun show, but for Christmas, tell your husband, but I'm gonna get a couple more permits and a get out of jail card for Monopoly. It's crazy.
Have you had an experience where someone you get a gift for them and you get a gift from them that you thought that you were buying the right gift because you thought you were getting hints. Everybody ever hint around, like getting to the sure would be nice to have you fill in the blank, right? Or they'll say, I can't afford, boy, that's so nice. I just can't afford it.
Chuck, I'm so glad my wife don't watch the show. Or maybe she does. Because just this morning, it'll be real nice. So thanks, Chuck. I really appreciate it. Let me go ahead and put that in the mental Rolodex from now. And what's so bad, Chuck? I'm sorry to cut your side off, and hers is the 24th.
Oh wow.
Her birthday?
Her birthday is the 24th.
Oh my goodness.
And she's like, I was born on the 24th and Christmas on the 25th.
That's a separate day.
Hold on. The same head nod. I was born on the 25th. Right, just letting you know we don't do the one gift times two.
Now, Pat, now that you're married, I know you said your family took away the Christmas tree when you were 12-ish or something like that. You didn't care. When did it come back?
When my children were born.
Oh, okay.
When my children were born.
Now that they're grown, did Nat get rid of the tree, or you guys still do it?
It's my house. I believe in Santa. I got a chimney now.
I got to talk to you about Santa. Okay.
I'm going to invite Chuck to come over and just trick me for one day.
I thought Chuck's Rocket Man destroyed Santa the time
it almost destroyed the tree. That's for sure.
No,
don't be shooting those rockets over here.
Even if it's the tree's not up now. So and we're not going to be home for it, but there has to be something festive. Right. And I'll tell you this, which is probably going to surprise some people. There are some Christmas lights in the den that I keep up all year round. All year
People
round.
keep their trees up all year round. They change them out.
That's terrible.
That's
terrible. That's terrible.
No, they make it like a theme.
I went to a friend of mine's house who did that. The tree was brown and brittle, and the needles have fallen off.
Oh my goodness!
And I look at him, and I look at her when I walk in the house, and they look at me and they say, "I know."
I will cash app you right now to say what person's name that was. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my goodness!
No, but I do want to know something. Just how does your daughter? She's what, 19, 20 months now, right?
Yeah, she's a 1-year-old.
Does she notice the lights at this age?
She notices it. Yeah,
she does.
Yeah, I take her to our tree at home and say, "Can you point to the red ball, the blue ball, the gold ball?" She points them out.
Educational experience.
And she also says tree. Every time she sees a tree anywhere outside, she says tree, tree, tree.
Nice.
So she notices a lot of things.
Do you tell her about it?
Of course.
I'm just kidding.
In our devotional time.
Come on, Chuck. Listen, GP, I just wonder what it was like. I'm thinking how early my recollection of Christmas was, and down to the point where I could remember at 2-3 years old, looking out of the window at the fire escape, wondering when I'm going to see Rudolph. And now my brothers, one of my brothers listen to this all the time. They always tease me because I have some type of PTSD with claymation.
Really?
So yeah, we play. So Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You see, you know what? That's the problem with you guys.
I remember them.
Now it's the preaching shoes.
I'm with you with Rudolph, buddy. I'm with you.
I remember that.
Claymations. Actually, I enjoy claymation over animation.
Yeah, claymation has something with it. Claymation that bothers me, but I am going to get over my fears. I'm going to swim and I'm going to watch claymation.
I hope you find a heated pool.
You're right, Florida, man. You're right.
Well, I got to tell you, it was, we've always enjoyed Christmas. And I want to say to our audience family that, you know, we know Jesus wasn't born that day, but we celebrate his birth. Amen. And we know Santa Claus isn't real, right? But it's the whole joy of the season. And as we talked a couple of shows ago, that, you know, it's really important for family to get together and enjoy. You know, I think as Adventists, we become Sadventists, you know, so much that we don't even know how to enjoy, you know, just, you know, even if we say, oh, it's paganistic, you know, we're not going to do that, you know, it's still just a great time to get together. And my family, we never put lights all on the outside, but we always had at least a tree, you know, that we would decorate and make it look so nice. And as an adult, you know, I just put little stuff on the stair, you know, banister, you know, going up and, you know, just making it decor a little bit prettier. But I remember one year as an adult being in church, and the pastor at that time preached about Christmas, and man, before you know it, it was the saddest day of our lives, right? So I went.
Why was that? Why was that?
Well, because in his teaching, he was, you know, like really convicting us against Christmas, right? And so I did it one year. I said, okay, we won't, you know, have a Christmas tree. And at that time, I think it was just me, my mom, and my sister were living together. Man, that was the worst Christmas. I don't even think we exchanged gifts, or maybe we did, but I know we had a tree, but it was, I think, because Christmas might have been on that Sabbath, so we celebrated Christmas Eve. So we had people over for dinner Christmas Eve, but Christmas came and we did nothing. And they were mad, like, this is the worst Christmas ever. Don't you ever do this. We're never doing this again. It was the saddest thing. And so it made me think about, you know, because I looked in the Adventist home, and it was, you know, talking about the children and how you have to have nice things for the kids, you know, and those are the kind of things that I think make our children, you know, leave church like, I'm never going back to that place. You can't do anything.
No joy.
You can't even be happy at Christmas time, you know. So I was like, we never did that again. Now everything is lit, you know what I'm
saying? The key word,
well, you know what,
that came out of it was joy. You know, when you pull joy out of any season, and I know one day we'll talk about, you know, Halloween and all of this stuff. And I think in the green room, Chuck, we had some discussion about our church, and but I think that when you start to pull joy out of something in order to bring the traditional Christ, or, you know, the headmaster Christ in, that's when young people say, you could do this together. You know, Jesus is about joy. And I think we try to split that, you know, Because I had that same situation at a church at one time, and I had to bring out Sister White's writings, even though she's not God. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not putting her to the side. I love her writings, and in most cases, I look at her as a prophet, so as a prophetess. But she tells us, use this time, and not only for the community, but we ought to use this time. And I'm paraphrasing on my own, for our families, bring our families together. Sometimes things get wonky. That's Chuck's word. It gets wonky in a family. You know, husband and wives, take the time now to come together and try to bring it together. So I love the season for that reason. Let me add this: I had a bad breakup in a Christmas that made the rest of the Christmases, like awful.
Yeah.
I was
sorry to hear that.
But you see, the thing about
it, I told you that Santa was not real.
Yeah. You made me have a belly laugh. That was, and just to think, really talking about sad. Just to think, there are people who have had bad experiences in Christmas. That it's a continuum throughout. No, man, don't worry, be happy. And the person you broke up with in Christmas, they're having a good time. So you go ahead and have a good time.
You know, there's still so many people, though, that are conflicted.
Sure.
And I think that's sad. You know, we should not be conflicted about Christmas, whether you should have a tree or not have a tree and all of that. I think that it's counterproductive. You know, you have to treat Christmas, as far as I'm concerned, you treat it in a way that is best joyful for you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's a either or. You know, you celebrate the birth of Christ in a lot of different ways. And, you know, I mean, yes, it is over commercialized.
Yes, it is.
Sometimes people go overboard.
Sure.
You know, they buy a lot of gifts and get that dopamine of high on Christmas Day. Everybody's opening their gifts and they're all excited. Oh, thank you. And you feel, great until the bills come in at the end of the month.
Right.
You know, and you say, what was I thinking?
That's right.
So,
and Chuck, you're right. We don't have to celebrate it like the world, but it's still like Pat was saying, bring joy, in the home without feeling like you're stuck in Babylon. No. Church makes you feel you're in Babylon. You don't know how to come out.
Right.
Yeah, they are the true Grinch and Santas.
Right. Exactly.
No, and I think it's important, as I'm hearing us talk about Christmas, the youthfulness you almost feel like a kid again. I don't know about you. I almost feel like a kid again every Christmas, and I'm adult with children. And so it's like there's something, it's almost like a rebirth. I mean, it feels different than your own birthday. It's almost like it brings back those same memories of the joy that Christmas brought you as a kid.
Yeah.
It's still realized in adulthood. And we always say the magic of Christmas. Of course, we don't believe in magic, but to me, that is the magic of Christmas.
Helps does. I'm sorry.
Green room.
That's another show. Let me ask you something, Natasha. Do you have antlers on your SUV?
I don't do the car thing. I appreciate it though when I see it. Like even those who have the wreath right there in the grill. I
have a wreath and a bow and an antler. I saw a truck yesterday had the antlers and it had lights on it, and the lights was blinking.
Because
if I were a state trooper, I'd pull them over and say, "Excuse me,
what the devil is that?"
Are these lights legal? I mean, what? I'm the only one that's supposed to have flashing lights. Okay, you got flashing antlers on your truck.
But Chuck, I would like a vehicle with a bow on it. Now, if someone wants to get
all right now,
all right,
they'll give you the bow and you stick it on your car. That's what they do. Don't be fooled by those BMW commercials. Now, please don't be fooled.
From the house to the car.
People down at the BMW dealer say, "Oh, I can't get financing for that." Oh man.
Well, guys, we talked about
$70,000.
Our traditions as children and what we did growing up. Like, what are some of your current traditions that you're either trying to start or that you've kind of kept up in your adulthood? whether it's by yourself or with your children or family? What are some of those traditions that are lasting?
Well, I have a tradition that I received that I'm bringing back. When we were little, on Christmas Day, we would have a little treat bag. And in our treat bag would be fruit and nuts and candy cane. So yeah, that was Christmas, you know, you had the time, but you always got the hard Christmas mix. Remember that with Sprite and all the flavors. So my church doesn't know it. They don't watch me that much, but they're going to get that Christmas morning, right? I want Christmas Eve service after church. Everyone's getting their fruit, nut, candy bag as we're exiting out. And we're going to make some extra to give to the kids in the neighborhood. But so that was a tradition.
What's your Cash App, Marlena? Somebody
you give me some money. So because normally I was going to really do it for the kids, but when we give for Halloween, you know, we don't do trick or treating. So we always, our youth department, we do candy bags for the kids after church. So we give them their little bags going out, and whatever's left, the adults like, can I have one? Yeah, I have one, right? So they wanted to, right? So they take from the kids and didn't make it to church. So we was like, well, we're going to save it so the kids didn't come. That's like, oh, but I'm going to take it to my church. So I said, you know what, Christmas, we're going to get everybody a treat bag. Everybody gets a treat bag. All the guests, everyone. And then we'll make extra because we have some kids in the neighborhood that, you know, we see, but we're going to do that. So that's a special tradition that I'm bringing back.
I love that. And I remember that, like the brown paper bag.
Yes, the brown paper bag. Yeah.
Tangerine, apple.
That's right. Yes. Wow. That's right.
Marlena, GP, let me just tell you that because we're office workers, I have to tell you that I envy both of you. Not for what you get as pastors, but what you give as pastors. You know what I mean? In a church, just to get some people, I'm a giver, so not much of a receiver. So when I hear you talk about what you want to do for church, I'm going to say it publicly, and somebody's going to take this. I would love to have a church again, because the season of people coming together, that's when your elders are the nicest to you.
And then after that, you'll come back to the office.
Right. Just for a few weeks. Yeah, right.
No, you know what you were saying, Marlena, I think about, I don't know if you guys got a chance to listen to John Henry Falk's Christmas Story. But his Christmas Story was very much about that. It was the poor South, and they didn't have money. I mean, just, you know, but they had dinner. They gave each other fruit. It was you know, I'm listening to the story first time I heard it. I mean, it really choked me up. It's like, oh my goodness. So the emphasis is not on a lot of expensive gifts and, you know, a lot of stuff. It was like two families, a white family and a black family, come together for Christmas, which was unheard of during that time. And they cooked. I don't know if you've heard in the story, you know, the families come together, the moms come together and cook, and, you know, and I think, you know, at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. You know, people reaching out,
making people happy.
Yeah. Experiencing joy with each other. Yeah, I agree. I
work at you know, you guys know I'm a physical therapist, still do a little on the side. So I work at this hospital for people who have
from HR.
So they know I came in with a license. I'm not getting rid of my license.
Get your money, Marlena. Get your money.
So I work at a hospital just like 9 hours a week, but for those who are on substance abuse and suicide ideation and many suicide attempts. And I met a lady this week in her mid-60s, homeless. And I thought to myself, you know, when you think of homelessness, I don't know, I guess I'm always thinking about younger people, but I just couldn't imagine, you know. So after this, she's like, I don't have a place to go, you know, they have to find me a place. So, you know, that's why I said, you know, we have to take this time, especially as a church, you know, if you have anybody in your community, do something for people out there who are hurting. That's why to on this Sabbath, you know, I told my people last week, I said, buy gloves, blankets. And I said, I want you to buy it, right? Because the church we can buy, but I want us to experience giving.
That's right.
We're going to have 100 gifts that we take out to, I understand there's a whole bunch, like a tent city under the bridge, right? So we're going into Kensington under that bridge and be a blessing to the people and anybody else we see on the street who are homeless, to keep them warm at this time. And that thing just broke my heart. That's why, you know, Christmas should be big for us as church, that we are out, you know, doing something.
Making sure everybody experiences some kind of joy this season. I think that's...
And above and beyond that, I know not everybody can do this, but I think we ought to reach out to our legislators and our representatives, especially in city council people. You know, let's not wait for Christmas. Let's build up to Christmas and say, we expect you to do something. You know, because these people, you know, we say they're homeless. You know, George Carlin years ago made a profound statement. He says they're not homeless. These aren't homeless people. They're houseless people. Right. So, you know, let's get them housed.
I like that.
They'll create a home.
Right.
You know, but they're not homeless. And so there are if you read up on a lot of these tent cities and a lot of these municipalities, those people have come together and they've made family.
Yeah.
Because they need each other.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
isn't that something, the community, wherever you go, if you build community, you'll get through.
Yeah.
Right. And I think also let's not forget our police officers, our police stations. I think if we bring something there, or if we make it a point to say to our police police officers and our firefighters, I mean, look, I give a gift to my sanitation worker, the guy that picks up my trash. I mean, this is the time to recognize those people who really aren't recognized that much for anything good. You know, they get headlines when they make a mistake or do something, you know, heinous, but these folk are out here literally risking their lives.
Or doing things that we wouldn't want to do. And
absolutely.
You know, it's funny you mentioned hints earlier. I was bringing in the trash can and the recycling bin the other day, and I saw this card on it. I'm like, oh, what's this? You know, and it was Happy Holidays from your
your trash hauler.
And it had their name and their addresses on there. So I was like, oh, I think
their name.
Do something about this.
I haven't gotten that yet.
Put it in the garbage.
Oh, yeah, we get them. Yeah, we get them in our.
Okay. I had never seen it before. I was like, oh, their addresses. Like, they're not nervous about, you know, people just showing up. I guess they say we come to your house every week. I guess you can know where we live.
So what do we get them? Gift cards, maybe? I don't know.
I guess so. I don't know.
Well, the last few times I think my wife and I did, I think it was a gift card, but you know, before that, you know, you stick a 20 in there, you stick a 50 in the card.
Okay.
And then when they come to pick up your trash, you just run out and say, hey, Merry Christmas, guys. You know.
Okay. You don't tape it to the trash. Yeah, trash bin. Yeah.
I know, but I was like, do you put it on the trash can with it and somebody take it?
Throw that out.
I'm so inspired by what I just heard, that suggestion to give gifts to, you know, people that we often forget.
Right.
So how do we keep from getting sad? Because like some of us are thinking, okay, all these ideas, how do I not go broke? How do I pace myself? What if I can't give to those I want to give to? Speak to those people.
Yeah, I would say, you know, sometimes we always think about what we can give that's materialistic or that requires money.
Right.
Sometimes it's something as simple as you're making something for your family and you put a little aside to give to someone else, or you come out, a bottle of water. I mean, sometimes it's just the gesture.
Absolutely.
That can be a form of giving that can bring joy. Or
you
come
cook
out
a meal for
a song. It's free. Or, you know, or you have something that someone gave you that you didn't like. This is an opportunity to re-gift to somebody else who may appreciate it.
Marlena? Marlena?
I still have my ugly clothes.
You know, when you give what you can. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chuck. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, and don't forget your postal workers as well.
Right.
Yep.
These people have to deliver the mail. I don't care. You know, I talked to a postal worker the other day, a young lady, and she said, I said, oh, you know, storm is coming. Are you guys going to have all? She said, no.
Through sleet, through rain.
They said our postmasters require us to come in. I don't care if it's a blizzard.
That's right. That's the Pony Express.
Wow.
So I think they need a little love too. you know.
That is nice. So we have in my community, because I live in a townhouse community, but so it's like a mailbox section. But I guess I could take it to the post office because they know which person delivers to my neighborhood.
Exactly.
You know what? Even if, and I know this is not just Christmas, but I call my post lady by name when I see her. They like that, you know. Even you know, and I know her name because I wrote the first check to her, so I immediately know. And then I know Richard Smallwood. When I say Richard Smallwood, her last name is Smallwood. Just to, so when she comes by, she always I always have Christmas for her, but never the garbage people, and I know them. So I'm going to hook up and get.
And you know, it's also a time to say to people how much you appreciate them. There are times when I'm inclined to, like for instance, I was at a Wawa, you know, the Wawa convenience store, and this particular Wawa was fairly new and it'd been around for about a year. And I noticed that this particular Wawa was just pristine, clean. Just clean and together, and the employees are so nice. So I came up to check out, and there were two of them there. And I said, you know, I just want to thank you for the hard work you guys do. I said, this is a great Wawa store. I can see you put I just went through that. Now, folk in the line are listening to me, you know, and they were shocked. They said, oh, sir, thank you so much. I said, I know, because you get it when you make a mistake.
Right.
But you're not when you're doing an awesome job.
So true.
All the time. No one says thank you. Oh, but you know how we are. Say, you know, have a nice day. We hold the door, that kind of stuff. You know, that's one of the nice parts about Wawa. Everybody will hold the door. You can just stand at the door and open it for you. Even if you don't go in, they just open the door. But my point is, sometimes, you know, there might be clerks or individuals that you see kind of on a regular basis, and they're in kind of some kind of service industry or whatever. Just say thanks, you know, and have a happy holiday. You know,
it doesn't cost anything to smile or say
no.
And I wanted to say, and I wanted to add to what you were saying, GP, when people feel overwhelmed, what can I do? You know, Jesus blessed people one at a time. All you have to do is bless one person. And it doesn't have to be anything really expensive, as been said. I mean, you know, today, you know, we used to be the Dollar Tree, $1.25 tree, you know, store now, you know, but you know, they have nice little goblets in there. I used to, like, at the end of the year, our church banquet, I would give all the leaders just a nice little goblet with candy stuff in it. Didn't cost much, you know, and they were so good. Everybody, look, if I didn't have that goblet the following year, I didn't get mine. You know, I got a box with 50, you know, pretty goblets, because everybody likes it for New Year's. You know, they get to drink their little sparkling cider. We not like the Caribbeans drinking that real wine that they put in the cake. You know, we drink sparkling cider. You know, and they love to collect those. You know, any nice, kind gesture, a nice word. You know, we don't have to be expensive. Love doesn't cost a lot of money. Love doesn't cost any money. Love is free. So just be willing. And I tell you, I've been so blessed by this show, Chuck. I hadn't even thought about the police and the fire department. And my church has a really good relationship with our city police.
Well, and if I hear you talk about my church one more time,
but you know what? We should be intentional. We should be intentional. You know, I know here in the Douglasville area, sometimes we'll see, you know, cruisers sitting on the side. You know how they sit and watch and try to catch speeders, you know, like what cops do. And there are times when I'll ride up next to them, and he rolls the window down. I say, hey, how you doing? He says, I'm fine, fine. I said, I just want to thank you for your service. Thank you very much. You know, we really appreciate you in this community. And again, because they're not used to that, they're like, okay.
That's kids speeding down the street.
Oh, listen. Let me tell you, and I won't say which kid. All right. Yeah, I mean, the cops know one of my kids very well.
Let them go.
They see, you know, they say, "Hey, Chuck, how you doing?" Right?
Right. Exactly.
I love it.
I'm going to give Libby something. I just feel like I need to give her something. So she'd love me.
I have a suggestion. Get her some stocks and bonds.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Somebody did that for my son. Out of Brinklow Church. Somebody did that for my son when he was younger. He cashed it out. He cashed it out. But that's great. I'm gonna do that. Awesome.
Well, you know, as we start to ramp up, I just want to remind everybody: find somebody to say thank you to. And you don't have to go through gifts. You know, with a lot of gifts, if you're worried about buying gifts, take $50 to the dollar store. You'll come out with more stuff than you can handle. Because it's the thought. You know, we always say, well, it's the thought that counts. I've had some people say it's the thought that counts. Well, you didn't think very much of me. But yeah, it makes you feel better when you go to someone and say, thank you, Merry Christmas. Here's a card. Here's something. Just want to recognize you and appreciate you just feel good. And when you see their reaction, you know, you can tell that we're not used to that in this society.
Yeah, that's true. You know, I wanted to share something that I got this morning. You know, some of these memes or whatever that comes out. It says this is not the year to get everything you want. This is the year to appreciate everything you have.
Amen.
I thought it was I was gonna say it like it was me that came up with it, but
right.
Well, we would have known.
Yeah, you ain't that smart.
No, we all would have pulled up our phone and said, "Yeah, hey, that looks like what I saw."
Oh, I love the UpSetters. I'm upset right now.
I love it. And thank you guys for, going down memory lane and sharing some of your Christmas reflections from times past and even how you celebrate now. And we hope our listeners and our viewers are doing the same, that you're reflecting on your own memories and even what Christmas means to you today or what it can mean, because we've talked about what we used to do and some things that we want to start doing. And that's the thing. You could always evolve in this thing and do better each year and grow each year in this Christmas experience. But I love talking about Christmas. I enjoyed this, guys. It was fun.
Yes. Yeah.
And remember, it's not about money. It's about memories.
That's right.
Good.
Not about money. About memories
and being a blessing to someone. I want to say that change somebody, even with just a kind word, a smile. Bless someone.
Yes,
and share. We'd like to see some emails from folk to share how they planning to celebrate their Christmas or how they
tell us how you celebrate Christmas. We may be able to feature some of them in our next show, which airs on Christmas. So it would be great to kind of see what you're doing to maybe appreciate others or some cool ideas you're doing with your family to celebrate Christmas. Email us and we'll be checking out the chat and featuring some of those in next week's show. So please, upset@aecsda.com. We'd love to hear from you. And speaking of that, we have a couple of things coming up as we're preparing for season 3 of the UpSet, and a lot of it involves all of you guys. Yay! We really love our UpSet community, and we want to find more ways to interact with you. So, next year we have what are we calling it? UpSet Diaries or some UpSet letter. I feel like I keep forgetting the name of it, but pretty much this is your opportunity. UpSet Digest. This is your opportunity to kind of write about a situation that you may be upset about or need some guidance about, and you want us to kind of weigh in. We're inviting you to send us those so we can give you our thoughts on maybe help you out with that situation. You can email them to the same place, upset@aecsda.com. We also have our second birthday coming up in February of next year, and so we want to kind of have an UpSet virtual party with all of you, and we want you guys to send in some videos of what the UpSet podcast means to you, or why you watch.
I can see seconds right now. You see Grissom?
30 seconds or less.
60 seconds or less. Yeah.
Okay, so 60 seconds or less. So
if we go to a 14-minute video, we're not playing it.
Because during that celebration show, we want to play some of it. We want people to see some of our listeners and some of our viewers. And so this is your chance, your opportunity to be featured right here on the UpSet. So we'll be sending more information about where to upload those videos. And then I hope this is not too premature, but we've talked a lot about kind of wanting to raise money to donate to causes that our UpSet community cares about. So we want to launch UpSet Cares, which is where we have the opportunity to raise funds for causes that you share with us could benefit from a little assistance. We talked about sharing in this show. We don't want to just do it during Christmas. We want it to be something that we as Christians have made a part of who we are. And so the UpSet is no different. And so we'll be sharing about ways that we will be raising those funds. One of them will be the merch. We got some merch coming, guys, next year, 2023. We've waited long enough. And so we'll be using that as an opportunity to be able to help those.
Well, what's in that cup? Because you were hesitant.
All right. So there's some Roma in here. Roma.
Okay.
But it's cold and I don't like cold Roma. So no. So we have a lot of great things coming up in 2023. And as you can see, a lot of them have to do with you because you all are the lifeline. Our UpSet community, you're the lifeline behind us. And we want to have more opportunities to connect. So, all right, I said a mouthful there. But Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Feliz Navidad.
I'm sorry,
So go ahead and light your Christmas tree, put on some Christmas music, watch some Christmas movies, which is a favorite of mine.
Christmas cartoons.
Yep. And
with your Christmas cookies.
Claymation.
Christmas socks.
Claymation.
And Christmas
socks, ugly sweaters.
Hot apple cider, drink that.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do. All right, guys, but we'll be back. Well, actually, we will be airing on Christmas Day. And so, hey, that could become one of your Christmas traditions to watch us.
You must be really bored watching us Christmas night.
Oh, I can see it now. I'm like, what's going on here?
No. Let's not unwrap the Tesla right now. We got to go watch something.
Oh yeah, we're getting a little carried away. We'll have something that you watch anytime, but it will air on Christmas. But all right, guys, it's been another great time. Once again, we enjoyed hearing from all of you. We look forward to hearing from our audience. And everyone have an awesome and blessed week. And take care. We'll be back next week.
Family. Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.